Good day. In today's video, we will be discussing the global interstate system and the global governance, particularly the United Nations. Intended learning outcomes. Number one, understand the structure and dynamics of interstate system. Number two, explain the challenges of global governance in 21st century. Number three, identify the possible solution to the problems in the United Nations structures and dynamics. Number four, equip students with the 21st century learning skills that will lead towards deeper understanding of global interstate system and global governance, as well as articulate a stance on these concepts while demonstrating effectively how these ideas impact the Philippines. I'd like you to watch this video and observe and analyze the situation in the video.
Four candles. Four candles. You are. Four candles. There you are, four candles. Four candles. Candles for forks. Got any plugs? Plugs? What kind of plugs? Rubber one, bathroom. What size? 13 amp. It's electric plug, electric bathroom plug, you call it. Trade, electric plug. What? Saw tips. Saw tips. What do you want, ointment or something like that? No, saw tips, but covering the saws. Tips. Hose. No, we haven't got any. Oh. Covered him, remember. Got any hose? Hose? Hose. No hose. Hose? I thought you meant hose. Hose. Say hose. No hose. Hose? What? Oh, you mean pantyhose? Pantyhose? No, hose. Hose for the gate. Mon repose. Hose. Letter hose. Two. I was there already for that. They can tell me. There, I'm up down the shop. The shop I'm down here today. Tell them anything. How many do you want? No, tins of peas. Three tins of peas. You're having me on, aren't you? There we are. Right. Pumps. Pumps. And pumps, food pumps. Food pumps. Food pumps. Food pumps. See you. Tiny. There we are. No pumps for your feet, brown pump size 9. You are having me on, you are definitely having me on. No. Washers? What, windscreen washers, car washers, dishwashers, floor washers, back scrubbers, lavatory cleaners, floor washers? Half-inch washers. Oh, tap washers, tap washers. Yeah. Look, I've had about enough of this. Give us that dish. Make it all myself down here. What's this? What's that? Oh, that does it. That does have it. I've had just about enough of this. Mr. Jones, you come out and service customer, please. I've just about had enough of this. Do it.
Right. How many would you like? One or two?
Alright, so what particular values is being introduced in this video? Or what is the problem in this video? Actually, the values that is introduced in this video is all about communication. And what is communication? Communication is a process of sending a message from the sender to the receiver. And when there's proper communication, there is understanding. And when there is understanding, there is peace. And what is peace? Now, before you define or give the definition of peace, I'd like you to analyze this picture. This pictures this picture tells us about balance. Balance that is achieved when there is peace. So what is peace again? Peace is a stress-free state of security and calmness that comes when there is no fighting or war, everything coexisting in perfect harmony and freedom. So what is the relationship of this to our topic? Our topic is all about the United Nations. Now, what is the United Nations? And this is their symbol or the logo. Again, going back to my question, what is United Nations? The United Nations serves as the primary organization for international cooperation, peace, and security. It is the only international organization that can authorize the use of force against an aggressor. The other one, its primary concern is to collective military security through the facilitation of peaceful settlement of disputes of member states. Next, it is a membership-directed organization and the members are all states. So let's have an activity. So let me read the instruction for you. Divide the class into 6 groups. Each group will be assigned to analyze the organs of the United Nations. The topic for each group are as follows. For Group 1, Economic and Social Council. For Group 2, Trusteeship Council. For Group 3, International Criminal Court of Justice. For Group 4, General Assembly. Group 5, Security Council. And Group 6, Secretariat. Groups must carefully analyze the function and the responsibility of each organ of the United Nations. They will be given 15 minutes to consolidate their answers and will be given the opportunity to discuss it to the class with the respective representative. They will also be allowed to access the internet for obtaining the information. Now let's go back again. Let's try to discuss one by one. Economic and Social Council. Its primary objective is to advance the economic, social, and environmental dimension of sustainable development. It serves as a gateway of the UN partnership with the rest of the world for the coordination, policy, review, dialogue, recommendation, and implementation of international development goals. Next, number two, Group Trusteeship Council. It was established as main organ of the UN Chapter 13 to provide international supervision of trust territories that are under the administration of seven member states to ensure that adequate steps are being made to prepare the peoples of trust territories of self-governance. Next, number three, International Court of Justice is the United Nations principal judicial organ. Its role is to settle legal disputes between states, continuous cases, and to provide advisory opinions on legal questions prepared by the UN organs and specialized agencies in accordance to international laws. Right? So next, we have the General Assembly. The General Assembly is the only UN organ with universal representation with all 193 member states represented in the body. The GA decides on essential questions with simple majority, while concerns related to peace, security, budgetary matters, and new membership admission requires a two-thirds majority vote. Next, we have Security Council. The Security Council is the most potent organ with the power to make legally binding resolution. It is comprised of the strongest military state, and it is a concrete manifestation of the reality of power dynamics. And last but not the least, the Secretariat. The Secretariat is its primary role is to gather and prepare background information on various issues so that government delegates can study the facts and make recommendations to help carry out the decision made by the different organs of the United Nations. All right. So having reiterated all the organs of the United Nations, let us now try to answer the following questions. Among the principal organs of the United Nations, which of it is very influential in the decision-making capability of the organization? I believe the most influential organ of the United Nations is the Security Council. Why? Simply because the member states or the primary uh, states that are influential in this particular organs are the so-called nuclear states. So the nuclear states, they influence, they they have influence with regards to policies that are being created by other organs of the United Nations, such the nuclear states are namely you have China, France, Great Britain, Russia, and the United States of America. So all these countries are nuclear capable countries. So meaning they are a threat. They are a threat to any countries who will try to challenge them. Next, if the United Nations purpose is to solve conflict, why is it that until now it cannot resolve the conflict of the issue regarding the West Philippine Sea? That's technically the problem of the United Nations because it has no power with regards to implementation of a particular ruling, particularly the issue of West Philippine Sea. Why? Since the countries involved with the issue of the West Philippine Seas are members or were members of the P5 or the Nuclear Five. So, what are these countries? You have China, United States of America. Now, the United States of America are fighting for uh, freedom of navigation, while China is fighting for the nine dash line. So, these countries are all members of the P5 or the organ of the United States that is called Security Council. So technically, if there would be conflict between these two countries, the Allied power will side on the United States of America. Now, who are those Allied countries? You have France and Great Britain and Germany. Now, who will side on China? China will be helped by Russia, and of course, there's a possibility that China will be backed by North Korea, though North Korea is not a member of the P5. Now, do you think a reformation of the United Nations is essential? On what aspect? I believe there should be reform with regards to the implementation of the ruling or a particular ruling, for example, the issue with regards to the West Philippine Sea. There should be at least proper implementation of a particular rule or law, since the affected country, for example, the Philippines, has no capability on defending and exercising its rights with regards to the rule being laid down by the United Nations. Now, what is global governance? It is defined as the formal and informal arrangement that produce a degree of order and collective action above the states in the absence of global government that involves coordination among states and non-state actors. So when we talk about global governance, we are referring to either formal and informal arrangement that produce a degree of order or understanding between government. That is according to Young. Now, after the lessons, you the students are asked to compare the topic to any object inside the room. The student must explain and illustrate how the object is related to what they have learned. So, I'd like you to reflect on this question. Has the UN successfully fulfilled its mandate in the realm of global governance? Yes, I believe so, but there are certain aspects with regards to global governments that the UN cannot enforce. For example, it cannot enforce its own ruling with regards to the issue of the West Philippine Sea. Any questions? Class dismissed.